damn, it was actually pretty good and it got me thinking. Welcome back, guys. I just finished watching The Creator, and honestly, it was a surprise. I saw a lot of the trailers for this movie. I didn't know it was marketing itself as one of the next big movies, and I didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to live up to that, so I was like, you know what? I have to watch this opening day. I have to see if it lives up to the hype. And well, I think it did. Let's first start by the characters and the story. The story is very simple. It has to do with AI and basically the fears that grow with it and what would happen if, they start getting emotions and if they start, well, maybe not emotions, but just sentient thinking, well, emulating emotions. And I think that just shows how good of a movie it is because it makes you think of how these factors would come into play in the future. And it made me think while watching this movie what angles they're going for. It's pretty simple. The movie shows how there's a war between humans and certain AI areas. And basically, in these AI areas, the humans want to get rid of them because they believe the AI can be harmful or dangerous, basically. Now, after watching the Terminator movies and all of these things, you would probably agree with it, but this movie actually shows you a way where you care for them. And it made me really think about it because it follows basically John David's character as Joshua, and he's finding the child that they show in the trailer. And the child does great acting. It's played by Madeline Yuna, and she does a great job. You really care for these characters, and that's what this movie goes for. It's character driven. The acting is great by these two characters, and the story is great, while the writing is great because you care for both of them. It does start off a bit slow. The intrigue is slow in the beginning, but you get more into it and you get more involved. This movie really made me think about just general things and philosophy, I guess. And I guess that shows why I like this movie a bit more because it's not a spoiler, but in the movie you see how they're able to scan brains and they're able to use it to make it into basically put you into another body. And a lot of the AI are basically like that, where it takes that information and it continues you. And it really makes me think about the nature versus nurture idea, if it actually works. This movie heavily implies it's basically nature and the AI is what takes over because, once you're dead and they copy the brain, it's just whatever that information is they've taken, it continues from that. And the thing is, it's pretty cool because when they do that, you come back as if whatever you've seen and done continues. So if you're in an accident, you wake up, you're like, what happened? What happened? Save this person. It's crazy because it makes you think, like, wouldn't there be a lag? Would there be emotions? Is the brain just controlling itself, and whatever your thoughts are, that's what the emotion is, and that's where the soul, that's where the care factor comes in from. It's a lot of different aspects that I feel like they could have divulged into more, but they did it in a nice subtle way. Now, like, I would ask you guys, now, I was thinking about this in the movie where it was like for humans it makes sense where if you transfer over to the next body it's not the same person. So a lot of people would be very hesitant. They'd be like, no, that's not the same person, just copied him. The person you've seen is unalived over there. Now, when it comes to these simps or like basically these hybrids where people, have like the faces and everything made for you and you put their data into the next person, I feel like it's tricky because let's say you are this AI and then you're in this body for however long you are. But then the second you die, I take out that chip and put into the next chip. Is the emotional factor still there? Because technically, it's the same person. It's that chip. It's literally that chip. There's not like a soul or something else that's being added by the person. So I thought about that while watching this movie when it came to stakes and watching how the AI characters are fighting in this war and battles and they're losing. Inside my mind, I'm thinking, what if you just took the chip and put it into somebody else? Is it not the same person? Or because it was very emotional. The characters get sad when they pass. So it's like, but technically, I get the body's not the same and they technically passed away, but if they're not human from the start, if they were just this AI learning, where would you go for it? So maybe that's just my brain overthinking about the idea. And I think that's credit to this movie because I want to see more of this universe or this world. And that's what I really like, because after watching Expendables, maybe this movie felt a lot better because that was straight up dog shit. But yeah, this movie felt amazing to watch. So overall, I think it delivers on the action, it delivers on the story. I don't like to say much in these reviews because some of them are these movies I think you're gonna enjoy it more if you don't know anything. Like me, I had absolutely no idea what this movie was about. I didn't know how long it was. I didn't know what it was. I just saw that there was a lot of hypes after the trailers, and after watching the trailer I kind of would forget because I saw it sometimes here and there. Overall, I think this movie's thought-provoking and it's definitely an engaging watch. It does have emotional scenes. It does make you feel for these characters, which is great. It gave me a mix of honestly Rogue One and maybe the Planet of the Apes movies, because you go in, you're like, okay, am I gonna root for these apes for Planet of the Apes? And it's like they did a good job. They make you root for them. In this movie, you go in and I'm like, am I gonna really root for the AI? Am I gonna think or feel for these characters this way? And you do. You care for Joshua, the character who's human, but also the AI characters and more in the movie. Like I said, I don't want to say much, and I think you should go out to watch this in theaters because I think this is a better watch than Avatar 2. I think this gave a better viewing than a James Cameron movie in a while. Maybe it's just my personal opinion. It gave me on it. I think this is actually, if I had to choose between this and Oppenheimer, I would go for this just because I feel like this was more thought provoking. After Oppenheimer, I really kind of wouldn't want to watch that movie another time, maybe with the boys. And I thought about that for this movie too. And I was like, would I really want to watch it again? And I was like, maybe not, but then it is a fun rewatch with the boys. What would be more fun? I feel like I'd have more fun conversations talking about this movie with other people and have more fun just talking to them about it. Like it's more enjoyable. It ends, it makes me feel emotional. I didn't cry, but it got me there almost. You know, that's the best you can get. So personally, what am I gonna give this movie? Well, I'll tell you this much. I thought the characters were great, made me feel emotional. I thought one downside actually is they didn't play Dream On by Aerosmith, even though they promoted that in the trailer. I was kind of waiting for it to hit in the theater, but it didn't happen. Maybe I missed it, but maybe I was too much in this film. But I was really sad that it didn't hit in the movie. But like I said, characters, story, and fun made me think about it, made me wanting more, which is one of the most important things also. Could go for a rewatch. So I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I think this movie is definitely 2023's better movies of the year. I don't want to say best because there's a few coming up. I'm not thinking right off the top of my head what came out this year, but this definitely, it's been a few months for sure. I'm not counting MCU movies because, let's be honest, I don't think Miss Marvel's going to be that great either, but this movie definitely did deliver. I think you should watch this in theaters. It was definitely a fun time that it deserves a 9 out of 10. And that wraps up my thoughts, honestly. So if you've seen the movie, tell me what you thought about it. Tell me if you agree about it. Tell me what you think about the ideas I was mentioning about how AI could work in the future and how it couldn't. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. I'm going to have a lot more movie reviews. I'm going to try to do more Bollywood. I'm going to try to actually do more Chinese cinema. Whatever you guys can get me into, please. I appreciate the support. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate, like, follow, subscribe, and see you next time. No!